Awesome. Well, happy Friday to you. Just one final thought on the home safety thing. Little pro tip, if you guys are in Carborough, you can stop by Surplus SIDS. And if you use the code word Easter eggs, he'll take you in the back room and has a wide array of landmines that you can plant in your yard. And we found those to be very effective, deterring unwanted folks at our house. So just another thought for you.
Easter egg.
Easter egg is the word, Gavin.
And Nick, just so you know, that's a huge liability, not covered.
Not covered. Okay, so you got to weigh the pros and cons, y'all. Happy Friday. It's so nice to see each one of y'all. And as always, such a highlight of my week, looking ahead to East Chapel Hill Rotary. I'm going to play host here for a minute instead of Lorenzo, who is getting one of his two Ivy League children back to school. So good on Lorenzo and his boys. And as y'all know, Lorenzo just does such a fine job running the youth aspect of our club. So from the RILA program for high school students, the essay contest that we'll talk about today, and then just any kind of connectivity we have with kind of that next generation. Lorenzo does such a fine job spearheading that. And so please, anytime anyone sees him, give him a slap on the back or shoot him an email and congratulate him on the job he does for us. And I know he really wanted to be here today. This is going to be a fun program, but I'm sure he'll catch the recorded note. So we're going to have kind of a two-part segment today. First, we're going to introduce you to a student at Keenan Flagler Business School, Lexi Couch, and we'll turn it over to Lexi in just a moment. She's got a presentation for us about some of the work that she and her team are doing actually in Guatemala, and there's some dovetails with the work that we do down there. And then we'll end the presentation today with our annual youth essay contest, and we'll get into that in a minute. So Lexi, are you on the call and can take over here?
Yes, I am.
All yours.
All righty, thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Lexi Couch. Like he said, I'm a student at UNC. I actually have two other people on the call with me today, Anna and Christina, who are new members of the club that I'm a part of. So I'm going to share my screen here. Let's see. Okay. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So as he briefly said, we do work in Guatemala. Our club is called From Houses to Homes. You might have heard of it. It's an actual nonprofit organization, which is based in Guatemala. It is run by Guatemalans as well, but we actually created this mini club here at UNC because a friend of mine who created this club, she did this in high school and she really loved it. So she wanted to make a club here at UNC for more people to get involved and help this like wonderful organization. So who we are is we work with a Guatemalan-based nonprofit, From Houses to Homes, that provides safe housing, education, and healthcare to local Guatemalans. We are a smaller club, and we plan to take, we were going to take a trip this spring break, because that's what we usually do is we go during spring break. We take like a weekish, and we go and we help this organization, but unfortunately due to COVID and the college's academic schedule, we are not able to go on spring break this year. So we're hoping that we can do this summer if COVID doesn't restrict us, and we want to be as safe as possible. So when we go, we build a home for a Guatemalan family, and we encourage a broad range of students to be a part of this club. And we don't want them to face any financial barriers when doing so. So we've been trying to figure out ways for people to go. Like last year, we pretty much were able to cover like everyone that went on the trip. I think there was 8 of us that went. But yeah, and then I included a picture of the sign that is attached to the building that is like the main office. And on the sign, it says "From Houses to Homes, Building a Future for Families and Communities in Guatemala." Okay, and so our co-presidents who are not here today, it's Reagan Curtis and Ellie Baldwin. They've been members for 3 years. They absolutely adore this club. They will do anything for this club. I believe Reagan has been to Guatemala twice and Ellie has only been once. They actually have a great relationship with the people who run this organization. And while we were there, they when you go, you create a relationship with the families that you build for. And so last time we went, we actually got to go and visit one of the former families that Reagan built a home for, and they gave us lunch. And so that was fun. And actually, both of them were going to intern this past summer in Guatemala, but they couldn't because of COVID. So instead, what they did was they started a summer fundraising program, recruiting 28 interns from around the country and then raising $40,000 for the organization itself, which they donated directly to. And then this is me. I am the treasurer. It is my first year being the treasurer. Reagan was actually the treasurer last year. I've been a part of this club for, this is my second year now. I was so excited to join this club. I actually was a part of the Rotary in my hometown, which is in Pennsylvania. And they kind of did a trip like this, but it was for Ecuador. And so I didn't get to go on that trip. So when I came to college, I was like, I really want to do something like that. And I immediately found this club and I fell in love with it and I love everyone part of it. So that's why I'm here. And then I'm going to introduce my co-officers, which are the directors of funding resources.
Okay, I can go first. Hi, everyone. I'm Anna Blythe. I'm actually from Chapel Hill. I grew up here and now I go to UNC. I am studying business at Keenan Flagler and minoring in Spanish. And like Lexi said, this is actually my first year in the club, but I'm super excited to be a part of it. I'm really interested in nonprofit work and I love this nonprofit and everything it stands for. And so I'm really excited to support it this year.
Yeah, hi, I'm Christina. I'm a first year here at UNC. I am planning to study doing a double major in business administration and peace, war, and defense, and then a minor in Spanish. I joined From House to Home because, well, I just love volunteering and I really just want to, make a positive impact. And I especially looked for a club that helped other Hispanic people, and this was the only one that UNC provided. So I jumped in and I'm loving it so far. So yeah.
Okay, so about a little more like what we do. So like I said, they focus on safe housing, education, and healthcare. And so with that, what the main purpose of you going to Guatemala for this organization is you spend a week and Monday through Friday, you actually build a cement home for a family that they pick or that applies to the organization and then they pick. So as you can see, in the first photo, this is like the kind of environment that rural Guatemalans live in. They live in like shacks and it's just it's not safe at all. They don't have any locks or anything. And so anyone can just walk in whenever they want. And so what we do is we build, as you can see in the second picture, we build them a 1-room cement home with a locking door, which is like super special to them because they've never had a locked door before. And so we spend a week and we work with local Guatemalan workers and they teach us how to build this home. And it was kind of hard, but it wasn't too hard. Like I was able to do it and it was fine, but it was super fun. And luckily when I was there, the weather wasn't too hot. And so it was pretty nice. But yeah, so it's a pretty easy process. The workers pretty much do all the harder things, but like as you can see the walls, like we built the walls, and then when we're done we actually paint it. The family gets to pick what color they want to paint it, and so the last day we spend like painting it, and then if they want any other designs on the house we like can paint a flower, or I know one family got a race car or something like that. So anyway, yeah. And the organization has built 15,000 or 1,500 homes so far, which is like a big accomplishment for them. I think it might be a little more than that now, but COVID has restricted them. They had to stop building during the pandemic. I think they just started again, like maybe a month ago. So that was kind of hard for them. But so that's the home building aspect. And so every family that has their home built, they have access to this free education. So they educate 175 children ranging from pre-K to 9th grade. They do not start their schooling until age 5, and most stop at 2nd grade because their families can't afford to send them to school. And so this organization really tries to like keep these kids in school. They receive 2 meals a day, education materials, free access to the medical clinic, which I'll talk about next. And then they also, like, the mothers of the families are actually allowed to go in and like work, like they make the lunches and all that. So they kind of like are supported in that way. Also, when we were there, we actually got to visit this school. As you can see in the first picture, they actually had enough money to build them a playground. So it was like super fun. We got to play on the playground with all the kids. And then in the second picture, it's just a selfie with some of the children, and they were like super happy to see us. And they were coloring that day, I believe. So they were showing us all their pictures. And then we actually did a activity with like 5th graders of where like they were learning English. And so we had to help them like try to like see if they could say like the words right and all that stuff. So that was super interesting. And that was a great experience. All the little kids were so cute and so funny. And so that was super impactful. And then lastly, they have the medical clinic. This is open to all the people that receive homes as well. It's free. And it does pretty much what like a primary care doctor could do. So we got to visit that, and they like told us all that they do, and they actually give the mothers like education, or like sexual education, or like nutrition, because not many of them know. And so they provide them with that information so they can live a healthier life. And it was closed due to COVID, unfortunately. I don't know if it opened again yet, but yeah. But we got to visit there, and it was so exciting to like see what they've done for the community. And then so a little about I'm going to talk about my experience a little bit. So on the left is actually the group of girls that all went. The girl on the far right, her name's Anna Minoka. She's actually the president of the UNC Rotary. And she was actually telling me about how I should come and talk to you guys about what we did. And then the second picture was on the last day of building. The family actually made us this like wonderful meal and thanked us for like building them a home. And then the third picture is a picture of me and 2 of the kids that we built the home for. It was actually, so I am not great at speaking Spanish, but everyone else that I went on the trip was. And so I had a little barrier, but I was still able to like talk with them. And they were like super funny, and they were fascinated by our cell phones. And so they really just wanted to play with our cell phones all the time. And they were on Snapchat, and they were doing all the funny little filters. So that was fun. And then here is a picture of me and the vice president, Emily, on the left. This was us painting the house on the last day. They picked red and blue, and we were covered in paint. They actually use this like powder paint. And so if you get any of it even on, a little, it's everywhere. And then the picture on the right is the actual family that we built for. And on the sign, it's a little plaque that we hang in their home. And it says like the organization's name. And then if you choose to, you can put, like, we put a couple of donors that we received, we put their names on the plaque. And so they just hang that in their home as a reminder of like what the organization did for them. That day was super impactful. The mother gave this like really nice speech where she was just thanking us for all that we've done and like how much it meant to her. And then all the kids were super happy and excited for her to come home. And then I believe Christina was going to talk about this slide.
Yeah, so because of COVID, we haven't been able to meet in person, but that hasn't stopped us from still trying to host things over Zoom. We've done a Kahoot with educational trivia to, have a little fun time to, teach all the other club members about this club and like what it stands for. And then we also had a panel with some professors and then a representative from Habitat for Humanity to talk about white saviorism and tourism and all like the ethical parts behind our club.
And then what we hope to do this semester, if we go back to in person, if not, we'll figure out something other. We were gonna do Habitat for Humanity builds, and then El Chapin, which is a Guatemalan restaurant in Durham. We went there last year, so hopefully we can all take a trip there. And then a history session. We actually had a Guatemalan professor teach us a little more about the culture last year. And then cooking tortillas in the pit, traditional alfombra, which is like a flour rug, making in the pit, and then actually volunteering in Guatemala if we are able to. It says in the spring or summer, but just summer at this point.
Yeah, and so then we just wanted to end our presentation by talking a bit about the implications that COVID has had on this organization. Firstly, as Lexi mentioned before, they had to stop building for several months, which caused them to lose a lot of progress. And they also had to close their medical clinic. So they've been affected in a lot of ways. We all know this has not been a normal year. It's been a very crazy year. And we want to make it clear that we're 100% committed to following protocol, and we're only going to take that trip if it is safe to do so. As of now, it's tentatively planned for the summer, but if we are not able to take the trip, we are going to use our funding to donate directly to the organization. Because, I think it's important to remember that this is a global pandemic and people are being affected all around the world. And communities and families that are vulnerable are especially vulnerable right now. So I think now is more than ever a time when these Guatemalan families and this organization could use our help. And we are ready to do that, whether it is in person or it's through donations.
And we just wanted to thank you for having us today. And I hope that we inspired you in some shape or form, because I was super inspired when I got to go. And Anna and Christina have yet to go, but I'm really excited for them to go. But it was probably the most impactful thing I've ever done. And I would definitely do it again. And then if you have any questions, please ask me. Follow us on Instagram if you want to keep track of what we're doing. And then if you have any questions, I attached the two presidents' emails and then my email as well. Nick has my email, and so if anybody wants to reach out, please feel welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Lexi and everybody, thank you all ladies for sharing your all the good works that you've been doing. We were inspired hearing about this project last year, and we're grateful to have an update. And you're absolutely right. It's unfortunate how COVID has affected everybody globally, and so we're encouraged to hear that you guys are continuing to plan to emerge from that even better. And we're grateful and inspired by the works that you're doing. So we thank you for that. Now I'm going to yield to Nick. I'm going to yield to Nick a little bit in here in terms of our timing. We may have. I think there will be probably some time for questions, but I think it would be appropriate to wait, if possible, to the very end and see how we end up with the second half of our program, and we can go from there if that's okay. Nick, does that sound reasonable?
That sounds great, Gavin. Yeah, and Lexi, Christina, Anna, just to echo what Gavin said, we are inspired by the work y'all are doing. To think about where the members of this Rotary Club were when we were your age. Man, y'all are doing some awesome stuff, and we thank you, we commend you, and we're here to support you. So it gives us great hope that all of our future are in the hands of folks like y'all. So thank you for what you're doing. And yes, Gavin, let's hang on to our questions till the end. So as we kind of transition, the next portion of our talk today will be the presentation of the winners from the Rotary Essay Contest. And as y'all know, we have this same essay contest every year. The basic idea is for students to interpret the four-way test, and specifically they're thinking about what would the world look like if we all lived by the four-way test, or something along those lines, or what are some practical applications of the four-way test, things like that. And so want to introduce you to three extraordinary young people today. The first, who is our third place winner, and I hope you guys will forgive any nepotism. I assure you I had nothing to do with the results. This is all Lorenzo, but is actually one of my daughters, Eleanor Vaughn. We call her Ellie. So Ellie, I don't know if you're there and can unmute yourself, but we'd love to say hello to you.
Hello.
Hello. And Ellie and I were side by side a minute ago, but she stepped inside so we could have some space and I can ask her a few questions. But Ellie, if you'll just take a moment to introduce yourself to the club, tell us who you are, how old you are, where you're in school, hobbies, fun facts about you, all that kind of stuff. Just take a minute to let us get to know you for a second, please.
Okay. Well, I'm Ellie. I'm 13. I go to Colbert Middle School. I love to bake, and I enjoy running, tennis, golf, and basketball. Yeah.
Any fun facts about you, Ellie? Anything that even your dad doesn't know about you?
Well, I'm not sure about that, but I think one interesting thing is I'm a twin.
Cool.
That's true. That's true. Well, Ellie, we'll let you get right into it. If you would please do us the honor of reading us your third place winning essay, we'd love to hear it.
Okay. Right. So it says, I believe that everyone should use the four-way test in their everyday lives. I believe that if everyone did use the four-way test in their everyday life, the world could be a more peaceful, beautiful, and pleasant place. First, number one, is it the truth? I believe that everyone should ask themselves this question before saying anything or making any decision. There is no reason not to tell the truth, and this way, if you could ask yourself this question before saying something or making a decision, you could avoid confrontation. I have to change the Zoom. It's a simple, easy way to avoid offending or getting into an argument with another person, or make a terrible decision. Now, number two, is it fair to all concerned? If something does not appear to be fair to everyone concerned, then why say or do it? It simply would not benefit anyone. When someone says something to you or makes a decision that is not fair or beneficial to you, it never feels good. It's like the golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated. It's never good to make a decision that only helps you. Try to make a decision that will improve the lives of others and do things that make other people happy. Make sure it benefits everyone involved. Then there's number three. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? I think this one is very important. In life, you want to build goodwill and better friendships. If a decision is made that will not build goodwill or better friendships with the people around you, you shouldn't do it. It's that simple. You want to build greater friendships, and you don't want to say something that will prevent that. Last but not least, number four, will it be beneficial to all concerned? When making a decision, it should always be beneficial to everyone concerned. That's a simple rule. Ask yourself before making a decision, will this benefit everyone involved? If the answer is no, then do not do it. This is a very good thing to ask yourself before making a decision. You never want to make someone else's life harder because of a decision that you made. We are put here on this earth to make people's lives better and to make the world a better place. And you can do that by just asking these 4 questions before you make a decision, no matter how small the decision is. This is a wonderful way to make decisions that benefit not only you, but the people around you. Before you make any decision, ask yourself, is it true? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? If the answer is yes to all of those questions, then that's the right decision to make. This is why I think that the 4-way test is a wonderful way to avoid conflict and making bad decisions.
Thanks, Ellie. This is the first time I'm hearing that essay, and as your dad, I'm very proud of you. That was really well put. Clearly, you've received your writing skills and your personal ethic from your mother. So very well done. Thank you very much. We hope you'll hang out with us for a minute till the end. And then next, I'm wondering if Catherine Copland is on the call. Are you there today, Catherine? How are you today?
You're muted.
Am I?
Now
I
we
think we
can-
got you now.
Okay.
Welcome.
You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Well, thank you for taking time to join us. I know you guys have a busy school schedule. Catherine, I'll ask you the same questions we put to Ellie. If you could just tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're in school, hobbies, interests, fun facts, that sort of thing. We'll give you just a few minutes to introduce yourself, please.
Okay. Well, my name is Catherine Copeland. I am 12 years old and I'm in seventh grade at Smith Middle School. Some hobbies of mine are singing, baking, and acting. And some fun facts about myself are that I love to read, and I get a watch every year for Christmas because I always break them.
Well, Catherine, that's a problem I have as well. So we can, I'm sure, all relate. If you wouldn't mind, would you please share with us your second place winning essay, and we'll look forward to hearing that.
Can't hear her.
Catherine, I think you're muted.
You're muted again.
Sorry, some tech difficulties with my mic.
There you go. We can hear you now. I think you're muted again. Now,
Can you hear me now?
yes.
Okay. Can schools open? And if they can, is it a good decision? I will be evaluating this topic with the four-way test, which helps us to consider whether an idea can make things better for some or all without making things worse for others. In that spirit of fairness, let's apply the four-way test. Is it the truth? To the school aspect, there are good and truthful arguments and points on both sides about going back to school or not. To the COVID-19 aspect, no. There's a lot of misinformation along with conspiracy theories about COVID-19, so some do not follow proper safety precautions. This causes what we have now, confusion and a steady increase in cases. Is it fair to all concerned? No. It isn't fair to the people who don't want to go back to school or the people who are more at risk, like teachers, janitors, the rest of the staff, and people who have pre-existing conditions. It's also not fair to the teachers who may be asked to teach in person and online at the same time, because they have to do much more work. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Yes and no, because students and teachers will be able to interact more in person, which can build goodwill and better friend relationships. But it can also do the opposite, because bullies would be able to interact in person too. I think that it will be more beneficial than harmful, because friends will have a chance to catch up with each other and they will be able to share common experiences and reconnect. Will it be beneficial to all concerned? No, because the teachers, staff, and people with pre-existing conditions will be more at risk if there's a COVID-19 case. On the other hand, it would be beneficial to kids who are struggling and need extra help, or kids who work better in school. It would also be beneficial to kids who struggle with getting to class on time, and kids who get to class or need encouragement to get to class, be in class, and learn. Based on this information, using the four-way test, I don't think school. Regardless of all the safety measures, opening schools puts teachers, students, and indeed the community at great risk. It was very helpful in answering this question, so I think it would help us clarify important questions, including world peace, world hunger, global warming, and other complex issues, both local and global.
Thank you, Catherine. That was great. I hope you'll be able to stick around with us towards the end when we have time for questions. Thank you so much. Wondering if Philip Kirtley's on the call. Hey, Philip, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing just fine. Thank you so much for being here with us. I hope you're well, and would love to let you chime in with your answers to tell us who you are, where you're in school, all that, please.
Yeah, so I'm Philip Kirtley. I go to Phillips Middle School. Yes, it's a coincidence. Some hobbies I have, I enjoy playing games, board games, card games, you name it. I also like doing magic tricks, making things disappear and all that stuff. What else? I'm an extrovert, that's something. And
And any other fun facts about you? I think you said maybe.
yeah, I'm left-handed. And
What? That's quite a few things, Philip. Thank you for that. We'll have to look forward to having you back as a magician, it sounds like, at some point. I'd love to see that second act. But for today, I'm wondering if you would share with us your first place winning essay, please.
Sure thing. If everyone used the Rotary Club four-way test to make decisions regarding the COVID-19 pandemic, people will realize the meaning of their actions and work together to stay safe and healthy. The truth test, the first principle of the four-way test, advises us to make sure that we are not misleading and honest. During times of turmoil, we often lose trust in our government and in experts because of a lack of information. If the government is not transparent with its citizens, everyone will be at risk and strife and worry will increase. For example, at the beginning of the pandemic, health officials advised us to save masks for others, but are now exhorting us to wear them. It's also important to be truthful with each other during COVID-19 so that we do not put others in danger of getting sick. If you were planning to meet a friend in person but discover you have COVID-19 symptoms, you should contact them and admit that you're not feeling well so that they are not exposed. Because COVID-19 affects some populations more than others, the fairness test, the second principle of the four-way test, can help us ensure that everyone is getting the support that they need. Essential workers are often unable to stay home and therefore have a higher chance of getting COVID-19. The fairness test can help us make sure that these workers are given the opportunity to stay safe. For instance, essential workers should be among the first on the list for getting a COVID-19 vaccine, as they are at a higher risk of getting the virus. The third test used by the Rotary Club tells us to build goodwill and friendship. During a pandemic, we may become resentful and irritable towards others. We can build friendship by doing simple things like going to the grocery store for neighbors who are at high risk. These actions will go a long way in helping people cope with isolating quarantine. When we offer support, people often see things in a new light, and then they in turn will help others. The fourth Rotary Club test reminds us to be beneficial to all concerned. When imposing lockdowns, government leaders need to realize that while shutting down places in which it's difficult to socially distance might help people stay safe, these restrictions could be devastating for others. Businesses may have trouble staying afloat without regular customers. Finding a balance between these 2 points and providing support for those who need it will benefit everyone. For example, government should work with the owners of restaurants and bars to find ways for people to go out to eat while also maintaining regulations to prevent the spread of COVID-19. As COVID-19 cases increase, and with over 270 COVID deaths and counting in our country, we need to use these 4 tests to help us overcome this pandemic and keep us safe.
Excellent job, Philip. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was a profound essay and has wisdom beyond your years, I'm quite sure. Thank you so much Philip Kirtley, Catherine Copeland, and Ellie Vaughn for all sharing your time and your thoughts with us. Would like to give the floor back to the group if anyone has any questions that they'd like to put to these young people, or Lexi, Christina, and Anna, if you are still on the call, the Guatemalan mission. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to fire away, please. Or if you just want to say a word of congratulations to these kids, that would also be fine.
I think we should give them all a round of applause. So unmute the phones and give everybody a great ovation.
I have a question, Nick.
Hey, Greg, yeah, go for it.
I shouldn't show preference for your daughter, so I'll just ask all of you, how did you learn to write so well, so at such a young age?
Philip, Catherine, and Ellie, don't be modest. You guys are all excellent writers, but if you don't mind, Greg has asked an excellent question. Would you mind chiming in on that? Where did you learn to write so well?
Well, okay, you can go first.
My grandpa was he was a college teacher for literature. So I learn a lot from him and my parents and Chapel Hill Public Schools.
Well, I think I've always read a lot at home, but I've also had a lot of help and support from my family, who are really have really helped me such a good writer, and they've taught me a lot. The school district has also been a huge help. I think those are the main reasons that I have gotten to be a good writer.
I definitely have to give all the credit for my writing abilities to my dad. So it's all him.
Good answer.
Extra dessert for you tonight, Ellie.
So Nick, I had a question for the three essayists. How did they hear about the contest? Ellie notwithstanding. How about the other two? Did you hear about it from school, or how did you know to enter?
Well, one day I was either in the car or at home. My mom told me, "Hey, there's this essay contest. You might want to join." And I'm like, "What is it?" And then they said, "It's this essay test contest, and the winner gets $100." And I'm like, "I'm in. I want that $100." And then
I'm in.
so she notified me. I think my mom got an email about it or something. That's how I came to know about this contest.
I came to know about it from the school. The school emailed us like a peach jar flyer, and also my brother Nicholas Copeland did it a couple of years back. So also the money.
So this is a dynasty. Thank you.
I don't know if Anna's still on the call, but her uncle wrote one of my favorite books about the Duke Carolina basketball rivalry. I don't know if y'all are familiar with it. The title is "To Hate Like This Is to Be Happy Forever."
So a classic.
Oh boy, I'll tell you.
Is Anna still?
For the sorry.
Let's see, is Anna still on there? Anna, are you still there? Anna Blythe. Anyway, her grandfather was the most marvelous, extraordinary nephrologist at UNC, one of the legends, a real fine gentleman. So she has a long history of accomplishments. So she has big shoes to fill.
I was sending Catherine a message on the chat thing, and I see it didn't get all the way in. But Catherine, I was going to tell you that I'm 75 years old and never owned a watch.
Wow. Really?
He's late to everything.
Very frugal man.
No, when he learns to read, we're going to give him one.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
Yeah, but I have a question for the home builders.
Let's hear it.
I think y'all spoke to us last year, if I remember correctly, and I'd mentioned I lived in Guatemala for a little bit. I was interested to know what pueblo you guys were in when you were down there. What location are you when you're building the homes?
I'm not sure what the town was called, but we were like 40-ish minutes away from Antigua.
Okay. So you guys were based in Antigua. You would stay in Antigua and then go there every day?
Yes.
Great.
We stayed with a lady that rented out her house to a homestay. That's what it's called. Couldn't think of the word. So we stayed with this older Guatemalan lady, and she like cooked us meals and stuff in Antigua.
That's great. That's great. I love Guatemala. Great country and great people. So love what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
What's the dental group doing this year?
We're not doing anything at the moment, just for the obvious COVID reasons. We have racing has got good things planned, but all of that has been kind of tabled until we know what we're able to safely do. Yeah. Well, I want to just say thank you to all of the speakers today. We had kind of a nice mix of inspirational things that young folks are doing in our community and beyond. And I can't think of a more appropriate topic for a Rotary group than to look and to see ways that we can apply the four-way test, and to do that not only here but abroad. So thank you thanks to all. Congratulations to Ellie, Catherine, and Philip. And thank you, Lexi, and everyone else for all of the things that you're doing and for joining us today and sharing such inspirational things with our club. So thank you for joining us. I wish all of you a safe and healthy weekend, and I will look forward to tuning in again next week, same time. Be well.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Keon.